Here's one of the things that has come up in the past with these walls is even guys still today do this, and it's the biggest mistake you can make. The biggest mistake you can make. Good morning, one and all. I am at a car dealership, and the contractor that was hired to build this car dealership hired me to build the retaining wall. Oh, I gotta see what these guys want. Oh, here we go. Morning. Good. I'm just here to inspect the retaining wall.
Who are you with then?
I built it.
Oh.
Just doing a visual inspection of it.
Okay. I was just wondering, I go, man, I didn't know anybody's coming today, so nobody told me. What do you need moved, you said?
I don't need anything moved.
Oh, he thought you said you had a Ford truck move. I said, I was like,
Oh, no. He probably said I was in a Ford truck.
oh, I don't know. He said something about moving something, so I came out here.
Oh, no.
All right, you're good then.
Yep.
A few weak spots.
Yeah, well, when I built this retaining wall, it did not look like this. So what happened was, it was all built. The contractor hired me to build this retaining wall, the guy that built this dealership.
Right.
And then he came in with his asphalt compactor, a dual drum roller, and he rolled right behind the retaining wall, right here.
So he pushed it out?
So exactly. So I'm standing on this wall, just like you see me right now, and I'm going, no, don't come near this wall. And the guy's like, no, I got to get my job done. And he would not move. And you can see where he went on top, actually on top of the blocks. And the problem is this wall was already a vertical wall, which is not something you should do. And then after the fact, he adds on everything you see here. It's not even the matching block. But before we get into the rest of this story, I want to take you out to a job site. This is one of Blaine's last job sites that you will see him working on in our company. He has graciously retired out. We're going to miss him. He was an awesome dude. He still is an awesome dude. Just because he retires doesn't mean he stops being awesome. But here you go. Here's our retaining. But before we get into the rest of this wall and how it was built, I'm going to take you out to St. Paul, where we're currently working on another project. Not quite as large as this one, using the same blocks, and we're doing something pretty cool. We're doing what's called a double pyramid. That's where we're building a set of steps out of the retaining wall blocks, but we're not doing the cut-in method, which is, I personally believe, a weaker method. We're actually stacking the blocks like a pyramid on top of each other. So we're stacking a pyramid on top of a pyramid. We're just going to show you what we're building. So due to space constraints on this wall, we had to do something rather unique. We had to build it vertical. And yes, you can build these walls vertical. With the Versalock unit, you can set them back or build them vertical. It's not recommended to build them vertical, except when you're building them around a set of steps, like you're gonna see in today's video, or you may have already seen in today's video. But this contractor that hired us, hired an architect and an engineer, and the three of them insisted, without an option, that this wall had to be built vertical. They didn't want that little 3/4 of an inch setback on each row to take up parking space up top. So here's one of the things that has come up in the past with these walls is even guys still today do this, and it's the biggest mistake you can make. The biggest mistake you can make. Now I'm going to show you what that is in just a moment, but we're going to jump back out onto the job site because the guys out there have ran into a little snafu.
Alright, so we were digging, couldn't find the gas line. Well, we found the gas line finally. It's right here, and also right here, and it goes over here, and up along here, and our wall it's right in the base of our wall, so can't do nothing about the gas line, but we're going to try and cut out at least the root maybe right about here, cut it that way, and then cut this one out that's over here, and then just keep going from there.
Perfect. You were sparking the whole way. We were crawling these parking.
Now on this job site, you're gonna see that we butt our retaining wall right up tight to another retaining wall. But there's a misconception out there what to do if your retaining wall butts up against a building. And let me just show you a mistake that some contractors still make to this day. Tying the retaining wall physically to the structure of the building. You cannot ever tie a floating retaining wall to the structure of a building without having that engineered specifically to do that, and these blocks are not designed to do that. So it wasn't the fact that the wall was built vertically that was the issue. The issue came up with when the contractor that hired us decided that they were going to add on to the top of the wall. They added on to the length of the wall. They put physical barricades and drove them down through the geogrid of our wall. And then they ran a dual drum asphalt compactor actually on the blocks of our retaining wall. Those four things together created the inevitable failure and mess, hot mess that you see this retaining wall turned out to be. But the contractor decided to then blame us, the retaining wall builder, for the failure of the retaining wall. And I'll tell you more about how that ended up and came out in just a moment. Let's get back to how these guys are doing. The contractor that hired us to build the retaining wall at that car dealership for 7 years would call me up and threaten to sue me. And the conversation with him would go something like this. Hey, you built a faulty retaining wall out at the car dealership. And I would say, no, actually the retaining wall was in perfect shape when I left it. And you put a dual drum asphalt roller on the top of my retaining wall and pushed it out. And then you added more block onto my retaining wall. And then you added onto the end of my retaining wall. And all of these things were never engineered into the original design of the retaining wall. If I'd known that you were going to do all of these things, we would have changed and modified the design before we ever started. And that's the way the conversation would end. And then eventually, he finally stopped calling me after 7 years.
Alright, good morning everyone. So I beat everybody out here. It's going to be a little bit before them other guys show up, and we haven't really been leaving anything on site because we're not in a bad area, but it ain't the greatest area, you know, don't want stuff walking off. So Blaine's got everything. I stacked out what I could. We'll start marking for cuts. So I'm going to start cutting right when he gets here. It's crazy. I don't know. I have so many people tell me, I don't know how you do your job. It's so hard. Blah, 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 blah. All this crap. You guys want to see a hard job? That's a hard freaking job right there. Them boys up there roofing. Oof. I'll take throwing blocks and digging holes all day over that. Mad respect for those dudes.
Amen, amen, amen. Well said, Sam. Nothing but mad respect and kudos to all of you roofers out there. I think you've got one of the hardest jobs I've ever seen. But what's another hard job out there that we may not be thinking of? Put it in the comments down below. God bless you guys. Stay safe out there and go get them. We'll catch you guys on another one.